Hello everyone, it is Frank the Tank, and welcome to part 1 in this interesting little series in which I will be looking at and rating every Belmo ball that has been released here in the States. Now, I have to say that because, unfortunately, there does exist a couple of Belmo balls that weren't released here and were made available overseas only. So as a result of that, those releases will not be included in this video. Those releases consist of the Timeless Space, the Timeless SE, the ProMotion Tour, and the Trend SE. As far as I know, those are the only overseas releases. I've looked everywhere, and there is no overseas release for the Drive, as far as I know. There is no overseas release for the Trend 2 and the Fate and the newly released Journey. So, yeah, also the plastic balls or the Belmo spare balls that we all know and love will not be included in this video either because they, well, they're made for sparing, even though you can use them as, you know, a strike ball when all else fails. But yeah, I know we all love them. They're like eye candy. They look so cool when they roll down the lane. But yeah, they will not be included in this video, and neither will any of those overseas releases. Okay, so now let me explain how this entire thing is going to get laid out. So first things first, the order. That's pretty easy. We're going to be doing this in the order of which every ball was released. So the Timeless was obviously the first in the series of Belmo balls, so we're going to start things off with the Timeless. Now, I'm going to explain exactly how this whole rating thing is going to work. So first things first, I'm going to show you a clip of me throwing 10 strikes with the Timeless, and also for every other video, I'm going to do the exact same thing, 10 strikes with every ball. But yeah, for this, I'm going to show you 10 strikes with the Timeless, and then we're going to go to an official checklist, and I'm going to answer some questions. There's a total of 10 questions, and they're going to be answered in a simple yes or no. And for every 2 questions that I answer yes, that counts as a star. And this whole thing is going to be out of 5 stars. So, yeah, I think you can understand how that's going to work. And then also, in case I end up with an odd number like 3 out of 10, 5 out of 10, don't worry, I created halves for that. Like, you know, 3.5, 5.5, something like that. So, yeah. That is how this is going to work. So I was going to do this all in one video, but then I thought, you know, it's going to be way too long. So I decided, you know what, we're just going to do one video for each ball. I figured it would be better, and it would be a really great lead up to the journey. So, yeah, and at the time that I'm doing this, I actually don't even have the journey. So I may as well, you know, get started now while I have time. So that's the way this thing is going to work. And also, let me go ahead and show you that checklist of 10 questions. Okay, so here is that checklist. So if you ever wondered, like, what do I do to determine whether a ball is worth keeping or not keeping, this is part of that. This checklist is basically part of my, I guess you could call it a routine in determining what I do to determine if a ball is going to stay in the bag or if it needs to go. So what I do is every time I get a new ball, I throw it for several practice sessions over, you know, several weeks or whatever. I really get a lot of games on that ball, get some oil on that cover, and then once that is done, once I feel I've thrown it enough times, I go to this checklist and I ask myself these questions. And if I answer like pretty much 80% of these questions with a yes, then the ball is clearly worth keeping. But, you know, if I get like a pretty low number, like 6 or 5 out of 10, then yeah, that ball probably isn't even worth keeping. So yeah, this checklist is my official checklist. I know some of these questions may look quite dumb, but you just have to bear with me because everybody has their preferences. Everybody has their way of determining whether a ball is good for them or not, and this is my way. So allow me to clarify these questions for those of you who don't understand the whole bowling terminology and all that stuff. So question number 1, does it carry? When people talk about carry, I don't really know how to describe it all that well. The best way I could put it is, how good does a ball get through the pins when it hits them? How well does it knock all those 10 pins down? That's basically what carry is, I guess. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's the best way I could define carry, so that's what that is. Do the colors help? I know that sounds pretty dumb, but yeah, my pro shop operator actually told me about this when I first started bowling. He told me that colors can actually help you with your game. It can help you see how that ball is rolling. It can help you see the length. It can help you actually focus. It can even help you see the rotation and all that. I know another way of helping you determine the rotation is if you just put really bright grips in there. But yeah, that's what I mean by do the colors help. And believe it or not, for me personally, it helps in determining whether a ball is good for me or not. And then number three, is it good on the fresh? I think that's I think you can understand that. Is it good straight out of the gate or not? Is it good for when the for transition? Is it good? Basically, is it good for when the lanes start drying up and you have to move left or whatever? Number five, does the length and shape match up with me? I think you know what that means. Does the ball give me immediate confidence? For that, basically, have you ever felt that like when you have a certain ball, like you have your go-to ball, it's in your hands, and before you're even gonna start using it, you just know that you're gonna win with this ball, that you know you're gonna put up high scores, that you know that bowling suddenly is just gonna be easy for you, like it just flips on like a switch. That's what number six is. Does it give you immediate confidence because you know that ball? You know it from top to bottom. You know what it's gonna do. You know how it hooks. You know the length. You know it all. That's what number six means. Number seven, am I confident enough to use this in tourney? And and number eight, am I confident enough to use this in league? Believe it or not, I could have made that one question together, but I realized that the feeling of being in league is completely different from the feeling of being in a tournament, because in league you're with people, you could be with your friends or whatever, and you're in a team, and compared to being in a tournament, you're by yourself. You're with other people who probably bowl just as good as you or better than you. The environment is just a completely different from league, so that's why I made them two different questions. Number nine, does the ball give you room to miss? You all know what that is. If you miss left, does the ball hold to the pocket and make it there? If you miss to the right, does the ball stay away from the gutter and grab at the friction and hook back? That's what that means. And then, of course, does it help me stay focused? What that means is that, like, have you ever felt that feeling where you pick up a ball, you use it, whether it's straight out of the gate or whether it's later on. Do you ever feel like you're just like on fire with that ball? Everything is working out, and then after a while, you just feel like you're losing your line. You can't repeat shots. You just can't. You can't keep it together, and you're like, I can't with this ball anymore. I had to put it down and I had to pick up a different one just to refresh my mind. That's what number 10 means. Does it help you stay focused? So that is my official checklist. These are the questions I always ask myself when I get a new ball, and it helps me determine whether the ball is worth keeping or not. So there we go. And like I said, for every two questions that I answer yes, it will give the ball a star, and it will help me determine in the end where this ball falls on that rating list. And speaking of the ratings list, here is the ratings list. As you can see, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, so on and so forth, out of 5 stars. Using the ever so popular tier maker that everybody likes to use. And of course, there's every Belmo ball that has ever been made, not including the spare balls. I'm talking strike balls only. I don't know why I have the overseas release ones in there, but they're in there. But man, that is pretty, ain't it? It's beautiful, or what? I wish I had those overseas releases. They look really cool in there with all the rest of this stuff, but that's crazy that this is how many Belmo balls have been released. Without the overseas releases, there's 7 in total, but 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11 in total. That is insanity. But yeah. That is everything, so we are good to go. So let's start things off with the very first ball, the Timeless. So here is the clip of the 10 strikes with the Timeless. Okay, you guys, that was the Timeless 10 shots. Pretty nice. Difficult ball to use for me, man. Like, did you see all that skid? I've mentioned this before when I made a video on the Timeless. Uh, that skid was my biggest problem. It threw me off. I couldn't get a good read on the ball because of it. So I don't really have high hopes for this one, unfortunately. But here we go anyway. Let's get to that checklist. Okay, question number one. Does it carry? Surprisingly, yes. I never really had a problem. Every time I hit the pocket, the ball knocked out all the pins, despite the shape and the hook not being so good for me. I've never left tens. I've never left nines. It splits the 8-9. I don't leave. It doesn't. I don't leave the 7. I don't leave 7 10s. I don't leave that stone 8 there. It carries pretty well. So I'm going to answer yes for that. Question number 2, do the colors help? Surprisingly, yes. They do, even though, like I said, the length and shape don't match up too well, the colors, surprisingly, aren't too distracting to me. They're not bright and flashy, and that's kind of a surprise to me because, the ball being, gray and silver, you'd think it would be kind of like really flashy going down the lane, but no, surprisingly, when it gets down there, it just looks like a gray ball rolling down the lane, and surprisingly, it doesn't distract me like the RST X3 with its yellow and whatever other colors are on there. That ball I had trouble getting a read on just because the colors were too bright and flashy, and I just couldn't understand it. So yeah, I'm gonna put yes on that. Number 3, is it good on the fresh? No, it is not. As you guys saw, that it was so much skid that there were actually 2 times in there that I'm not sure if you noticed. There were 2 times in there where I stood up on it because I thought that I was going to gutter. But surprisingly, by some miracle, the ball gained traction and made it back to the pocket. And I don't know how, but it did. But then again, house shot, that's what it does for you. It helps you. So yeah, it's not good on the fresh. It's definitely number 4. I think it is definitely good on the transition because of that extra skid. You definitely want a ball that you can count on when the lanes dry up. You want it to really get down there and to make it to the pins. You don't want it to burn out. And I think that the Timeless, based on that reaction that I saw on the fresh, I think that it could definitely do that. That extra skid, I feel like you could definitely count on it to get the ball down there. So yeah, I'm going to put yes on that. So number 5, does the length and shape match up with me? Nope. I just talked about that. That extra skid throws me off, and I can't get a read on that ball. Number 6, does the ball give me immediate confidence? No, it doesn't. I find myself in doubt. I find myself feeling skeptical. I think that's the same thing. Yeah, I keep questioning myself, like, I'm going to throw this ball and I don't know what's going to happen. Is something good going to happen? I don't know. Number 7, am I confident enough to use this in a tourney? Nope, and I'm definitely not confident enough to use this in league. Does the ball give you room to miss? Yes, it does. You saw in there were times where I missed left and the ball held to the pocket. Those 2 times that I stood up on it were an indication that it can gain enough traction to get back to the pocket and just really hook like crazy. Good continuation, too. I got to admit that. Does it help me stay focused? No, it does not. So there you go. That is a checklist for the Timeless. That was, let's see, 1, 2, 3. That was 4. So that is 2 out of 5 stars on on this tier list or ratings list, whatever you want to call it. So here we go. We are going to put the Timeless officially right there. 2 out of 5 stars. Ouch. But then again, to be fair, it is the very first ball in this series. And, when you're creating something for the first time, it's very rare, I guess, that you will get it right the first time. So to be fair, I would call this a test ball in this entire series. And you could see over time that they clearly learned their lesson and they knew what to do and what not to do. So the Timeless gets a 2 out of 5. So that does it for part 1 in this series. Part 2 will be the drive next. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And yeah, I'm Frank the Tank. That was the Timeless. 2 out of 5, kind of sad. But yeah, there we go. I will see you guys next time in part 2 for the drive. Peace.